This is 3D printed chocolate. I made it to see if 3D printing is the future of food. But the question everybody has is...
It's not gonna kill me, right?
No, it's but to understand how I got here, we have to go back about 5 months to right after I 3D printed a skateboard with my engineering friend Cameron, when I asked him this question.
Could these printers 3D print like a Mr. Beast chocolate bar or something? Like,
Yeah, maybe.
Fast forward a couple of months, I actually ended up trying 3D printed candy from this company, but it ended up tasting really bad. But apparently 3D printing is said to take over the food industry within the next decade. So to test if 3D printing is the future of chocolate or food as we know it, I've created a 3-step plan. Step 1, buy 3D printed chocolate.
Yeah, so that number on the 3D printed chocolate bar is going to be about $2,000.
Step 1. 3D print my own chocolate bar. Step 2, get into contact with an actual chocolate company. And step 3, pitch 3D printed chocolate to said chocolate company to see if they'll start selling my chocolate. Sounds easy enough. Let's get to work. Step 1, 3D print chocolate. A few problems with this. Number 1, I don't know how to 3D print anything. Number 2, I need to find a 3D printer that can actually print me chocolate. Never thought I'd say that before. Which is when I reached out to my friend Blake from KC Proto in downtown Kansas City, who's also the guy who 3D printed me a bike frame in the last video. It failed, but he has a 3D printing food converter. So after much negotiation on the phone and days of emailing back and forth, we came to the agreement that if I, someone with no experience in 3D printing things, would build this for him, then I could use the chocolate 3D printer for free. So I headed an hour and a half to his house to pick it up. The only problem, he needs his 3D printer back in 3 days time. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what any of this stuff does or how to attach it, but I do know someone who does. So I headed home with the 3D printer, and the next day...
yo, what up, bro?
Okay, so once again, this is Cameron, the guy who helped me 3D print the skateboard in the last video. He's a 3D printing god, my best friend, and also a fellow YouTuber. I explained to him my situation.
Okay, bro, this is all the stuff I have. Do you know how to attach this stuff?
And bro off the dome told me exactly what to do. The first step was to remove the base of the 3D printer and remove the cords to attach the food converter.
Okay, I have never done anything like this before, so I am being extremely careful.
When removing or attaching any of the electrical parts, I would just say just be very extra gentle. It is electricity, it is thin little cables that can't always break or snap if you're using anything sharp. So just be really careful because everything is a little expensive.
Okay, good idea.
Now, the reason why not breaking anything is super important is number 1, this is not my 3D printer, but number 2, it would also mean that my plans for the 3D printed chocolate would fail. Let me explain. 3D printed food has the potential to change the world as we know it. Like in Cloudy with the chance of meatballs, they 3D print food, which the 3D printer creates a mind of its own, turns into a giant meatball, and almost destroys the entire world as we know it. Hopefully that won't happen. I do, however, think 3D printing has a chance to positively help millions of people. So here's my plan. To test if 3D printed chocolate and 3D printed food as a whole are the future of food technology, I'm going to be pitching 3D printed chocolate to a real chocolate factory to see if they'll be open to start selling it, or I'll have my answer that 3D printed food is not ready yet to go mainstream. Cameron, however, is skeptical that a chocolate company would even want to talk to me.
I don't know how you're going to do that.
I'll figure it out.
Step 2 is to replace the nozzle that squirts out filament to replace it with the LuckyBot food extruder.
After that, you're going to actually install the actual food converter.
Bro, I feel like I'm making a PC right now, but in like an hour and a half, it's going to be able to print food. That is insane to say. Okay, let's keep going.
And after 2 full days of building, the printer was finally done.
The 3D printer is finally turned on and ready to print. So the real question is, do I print like a piece or do I print like an actual chocolate bar?
So to actually 3D print the chocolate, you'll need what's called an STL file, which is basically just turning the chocolate into an object and then turning that object into a bunch of triangles.
I have no idea what I'm doing, so Cameron walked me through the process.
Right now, I'm melting the chocolate so that I can then put it in the 3D printer so that it can actually 3D print a Feastables bar, basically. I have no idea if this is even going to work. This is my first time 3D printing anything, and I'm 3D printing an edible chocolate bar. I'm kind of worried.
And worried I should have been, because just like most of my videos, my first attempt looked like this. And my second attempt, and to be honest, after the third, I just gave up.
Okay guys, I'm absolutely losing my mind over this 3D printer. I cannot, for the life of me get this thing to work. I have tried everything to figure out what's wrong with this, and I just can't figure it out. Maybe it's because I have never worked on a 3D printer before, or maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe it's both. I have no idea. But I've been emailing Blake, the guy whose 3D printer I'm borrowing, and he's been sending me these videos of solutions online, but all the videos are in Mandarin, and I can't understand a single thing I'm listening to.
第二步，更改 3D 列印机上的设置，以更彻底地挤出巧克力。
Now remember, the goal for this video is to pitch a chocolate company on selling 3D printed chocolate bars. But if I can't even get this 3D printer to print a chocolate bar, then that would mean for sure that 3D printing is not the future of food. But I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that something like that doesn't happen, even if it means going over to a stranger's basement to do so. Mom, if I get kidnapped, I love you. Hey, how's it going? I'm Brandon. It's nice to officially meet you. Yeah, so this is Blake. I'm gonna be going into his basement to 3D print this chocolate bar, hopefully. I've also never met him until right now, so hopefully I don't die. I made it into Blake's house, went into his 3D printing lab. Loki was kind of scared, but we got right to work. Blake said we only have an hour to do this, but he still made time to roast my building skills.
How do you get this piece? There's something wrong with this.
Seriously though, Blake was such a nice guy. He knows a lot about 3D printing. If you're in the KC area, come to KC Proto. So we got right to work trying to find the problem to this 3D printer. And it only took Blake about 5 minutes to find the problem.
This is getting hot.
Oh, good. Oh, it's heating that one.
That's the problem. See, and it's heating it up to, it knows that it needs to go to 37.
Yeah.
And then this is heating, this is warm.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna translate that into English for you guys. The 3D printer is still heating up the original nozzle and not the chocolate one, so the chocolate isn't melting. The problem from here is we don't have the right part to tell the 3D printer to heat up the chocolate nozzle.
A thermistor is like a thermometer, basically.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know what it's going to be measuring when it's only this big. It's going to be measuring the temperature in here, so...
Exactly. So Blake started trying to fix it the engineering way, I guess you could say. The quick fix way?
Yeah, we're just going to solder the wires together and see if that...
It's the definition of hardwiring. That's so funny.
Smoke comes out.
If what comes out? Smoke? Are you serious? That obviously did not work. The next solution was just to buy the missing part online. The problem, we don't even know if this company even exists anymore. And even if we could get into contact with them, the part would take months to get here.
Well, I mean, this is where we're at. We're stuck here.
Gotcha. Can order the piece and then...
Yeah, let me...
So Blake went searching online, found absolutely nothing. Then I left because it had been an hour and Blake had somewhere to be. Okay, boys, after literal hours of attempting to fix this printer, it's just not gonna work. But luckily for me, after doing a little bit of research, I found this thing called a Cocoa Press that'll actually 3D print chocolate for me. The only problem is that it costs $1,500, and I have to build it myself. As well as getting it shipped, you also need to 3D print a bunch of parts for it. So I had Cameron start working on the prints.
Alright guys, it's cam time. We're about to print all the parts that I'm gonna need. So I've got everything ready. The printer, my little baby P1P with a bunch of filament to speed run all of these chocolate parts, but it's gonna be a lot of printing.
So while Cameron started on the prints, I tried contacting a bunch of chocolate companies to meet with me. To my surprise, one actually said yes. Which one, you might ask? Cocoa Dolce, one of the most popular local chocolate factories here in Wichita, Kansas. So with 4 days until the Cocoa Press arrived, I hopped on a call with the chocolate factory to see when they would be free to do this. Hi Casey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So, you know, we actually have talked a lot about 3D printers. So we've talked about with chocolate. We've seen it with chocolate. Well, I was going to ask if you had an idea of already direction you want to go with it.
We talked for about 20 minutes and then agreed upon Wednesday at 1 p.m. for the meeting, which is in 8 days. So 5 days later, the Cocoa Press as well as all of Cameron's 3D printed parts arrived, and now I have 3 days to build this 3D printer. And after 5 days of waiting, the 3D printer, as well as all of Cameron's 3D printed parts, have officially arrived. Oh, also Cameron's here. I flew him in so that I don't mess anything up. Cameron, how long does it usually take to assemble this 3D printer?
Yeah, I think this is gonna take us around 12 hours.
Shit. So without further ado, let's get to work. Now, something you should probably know before I start building this 3D printer and why that call meant so much to me is because ever since I was a little kid, my favorite show has been Shark Tank. watching entrepreneurs pitch the biggest names in business on their genius idea that could possibly change the world. Probably why I love YouTube so much, because just like entrepreneurs on the show, I myself am trying to make videos that positively impact each and every one of you, but also make a change on YouTube. And this will probably be one of the only opportunities to ever pitch a real company a product that I truly believe has potential. So here's my plan. Once I 3D print a chocolate bar, which I'm praying I will be able to, I'm going to do a Shark Tank style presentation to the chocolate company leading up to the pitch. As you guys know, the entire reason I'm making this video is to test if 3D printing is the future of food. And now that I know that the owner of Cocoa Dolce has thought about buying a chocolate 3D printer,
They're not that. We've talked about it before, just getting one just to mess around.
if I convince him that 3D printed chocolate has the potential to be the future of the chocolate industry, and he ultimately says yes to the question, then I'll let him keep my chocolate 3D printer, which I'll then be out over $1,500. But if he says no, then I'll have my answer that 3D printing is not the future of food, and get my money back by selling the chocolate printer at the end of the video. But if I want any of that to even happen, I need to pray that Cameron came through with all the right pieces, and the cocoa press is in good enough condition for me to build. Okay, so we got everything together. The first step is going to be to put the frame together. Oh, all my knees, bro. I'm getting too old for this.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about
Okay, so after about an hour of building, the frame is finally done. Cameron, what's the next step?
Okay, our next step is we're working on these motors. We're gonna try to get some of the motors in, the first one being the Z motor, and then we'll figure it out from there and see what's the next steps are.
Okay, perfect. Hey Cam, do you need help?
I think you're doing a perfect job over there away from the printer.
Gotcha, okay. Now, the reason why Cameron said that is because the last time that we tried to do anything 3D printing related together, it completely and utterly failed. And the reason why it failed was my only job to make sure of, so Cameron still doesn't trust me. Okay, so Cameron is now working on the bed of the 3D printer. How long do you think we've been going at this so far?
So far, I'd say we're near around like 3 hours or so. Maybe
Yeah, 3 hours, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're like less than a quarter way through.
Which page are we on?
This was one of the most difficult 3 days of my entire life. We were trying to complete a 214-page assembly manual that usually takes people 10 to 12 hours to finish. Somehow, it ended up taking us 20. Maybe because I didn't help at all, and Cameron did everything himself, but after over 3 weeks of work, 2 full days of building the cocoa press and thousands of dollars down the drain, the printer was finally done. And now finally, after days of building, the printer is finally done. And it looks absolutely insane. I'm not even gonna lie, I might lose my edging streak just from staring at this thing. It's crazy to even say this, but the next and final step is a 3D printed chocolate bar. I've been waiting to say that for the last month. Both Cam and I have been grinding. Cam has been kind of carrying me. I feel kind of bad, but it's time to print this bad boy. But first, we have to pray that this thing turns on. 3, 2, 1. Let's go, baby.
It's turning on.
Oh, bro, it's on. Oh my gosh, we actually, guys, we did it. By we, I mean Cameron did it. I helped, kind of. And then after some refining, preheating, and praying, this happened.
It's working so
Let's go,
good.
it's working. It's working. It's working. Oh my gosh, let's go. Let's go, bro. Let's go, bro. Oh my gosh. It's printing, bro. It's actually printing chocolate. It's happening. It's happening.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go, bro. Let's go.
I don't know how long this is gonna take because it was just a.
Oh, how many things is it printing?
This one's a test, so I think it's printing a bunch of the little squares with different infills. So
Gotcha.
It's gonna print, I think, 9 squares of chocolate, each with different infills, and it's gonna look sick.
I'm getting chills right now, bro. I'm actually getting
I
chills.
didn't think it was gonna work that good. I thought we were gonna have to troubleshoot. It's actually coming out.
Guys, look at it. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's insane. It's actually printing chocolate. So after about 90 minutes of printing, okay, the chocolate is officially done. It's time to taste test this for the very first time. We might be the only 2 people in Wichita, Kansas to have ever tried 3D printed chocolate.
That's crazy.
I'm flabbergasted.
Dude, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
That is 3D printed chocolate.
Wait, don't eat it yet, don't eat it yet. Okay, you ready? It tastes like normal chocolate, but it's cool, that's awesome.
Texture was a little weird, but
Yeah, I know, it's very rough in my mouth, but I like rough things in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie, not like let down,
but I think we could do better. I really do think we can do better.
I think we can too.
We have 24 hours until I'm meeting up with the chocolate factory, and this is not gonna cut it. So in an attempt to come the most prepared as possible, I've created a plan. Probably like the 5th one of this entire video. Step 1, packaging. Every single chocolate company on the face of the planet has incredible eye-catching packaging so that when you walk into a store, you'll buy it. But this looks like shit. I'm gonna change that. So while Cameron worked on designing a better looking chocolate bar as well as better wrapping, I worked on step 2. In order for a chocolate factory to even want to start selling this, we need to turn this chocolate into a legitimate LLC. Hi, I'd like to start an LLC, please. Hi, I'd like to start an LLC. Hi, could I start an LLC, please?
We're at Burger King.
Oh, this is Burger King? Okay, I'll just do a number 1 Whopper, please.
The sandwich by itself or the combo?
Okay, so Cameron just finished designing a custom bar that has the Printables logo, definitely not a knockoff of any popular chocolate brand on the market right now. And this is what it looks like. As you can see, it says Printables with the real Willy Wonka chocolate hat, which looks absolutely insane. Cameron, how long exactly is it going to take to print one of these bars, roughly?
Each of these is gonna take about 50 minutes.
50?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a long time. I don't know if we have that much time, but we're just gonna start cranking out the prints. Step 3, testimonials. Every single good chocolate company has incredible reviews. And what better way to get real reviews from real people than giving out free samples at Target? Cameron, you wanna do that one?
Sure. Okay. I'm at Target and I already feel out of place. I got me a nice apron, so I'm looking pretty snazzy.
While he works on that, I'm gonna focus on step number 4, advertising. Okay, so while Cameron is giving out free samples, I'm gonna go into Office Depot, try to make flyers so that I can start advertising this 3D printed chocolate business. I just wanna get like 2 posters printed if possible. Awesome. So after $34 and 30 minutes waiting, they were done. Thank you so much. Oh shit. Guys. It says chocolate. What the? So while I kept putting up posters, Cameron was still
chocolate. 3D printed chocolate.
Yeah.
Get your 3D printed chocolate. Anyone? Chocolate. Please.
Okay, Cameron was struggling getting sales, so I came put the poster up. You look more official now. I'm lying. I don't know why I said that. I've been here the whole time. Cameron was also with me the whole time. It just sounded cooler for the video if we split up, almost like we're on a hero's journey, when in fact we're in front of my local Target giving out free samples of our homemade chocolate concoction to innocent little kids. Anyways. Hey, excuse me. Do you want to try our 3D printed chocolate? Not today. It's okay.
Do you guys want to try some 3D printed chocolate? It's completely free. We're just getting
completely free samples if you guys want to try it.
Okay.
Okay, no worries. Bro, it's always so awkward. It's always so awkward getting rejected.
Why doesn't people want free chocolate?
Soon enough, people did.
Excuse me, do you guys want to try our 3D printed chocolate? It came from this 3D printer.
It's free. We were just...
Yeah, it's completely free.
3D printer chocolate?
Yeah. How did you like it?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
It was good?
You think you'd get it if it was available in stores and like different shapes and stuff?
Low key, but like, it's not gonna kill me, right?
No, it's down it. Oh no. How's it taste?
It's really good.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm scared. I don't know if I can eat it, but we'll give it to our brother.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, sounds good. Okay, have a good one. Oh, they're gonna feed it to their brother.
They're like, we don't want to eat it. We'll give it to him.
yeah. We'll feed it to our dog.
We got a ton more reviews, but before we knew it...
Hi, guys.
Oh, are we not allowed to be here?
No.
So with 18 hours until I presented the chocolate factory, it was time to finally execute the last and final step, the presentation. Once again, leading up to the pitch, to letting them keep my chocolate printer or not. So we got to work creating the most important presentation of my life. Okay, so we're inside Cocoa Dolce right now. Cam and I are working on the presentation. I think we came up with a game plan to make it as entertaining yet educational as possible. My goal is to actually make Cocoa Dolce start selling 3D printed chocolate. So we got to get cranking, basically. So while I'm working and finishing this presentation, Cameron is printing as many printable chocolate bars as possible. Now while we grind, you're probably wondering how exactly this chocolate 3D printer even works. Well, it's pretty simple. Think about this 3D printer as an oven. The first step is to insert chocolate into the printer. The second step is to preheat for 20 minutes. Step 3 is to pick your design. Step 4 is to print. And step 5 is to finally eat.
How big does it look?
Now, the reason why I need to know how this works is because Cameron is leaving tomorrow morning, which means I need to be able to answer any 3D printing related questions the chocolate factory has. So Cameron is teaching me everything he knows. But with about 8 hours before the meeting, the presentation was finally done. The next morning, I dropped Cameron off at the airport, and now it was time.
Alrighty, we are outside of the Cocoa Dolce chocolate factory. About to go inside, present the pitch, and pray that they accept the proposition.
Now, something you should probably know before I meet with the chocolate company is they know that my goal is to convince them to start 3D printing chocolate. But they said that they want to convince me why their method of making chocolate is better. So before I present to them, I'm getting a tour of their chocolate facility to see if it changes my mind. So I walked into the chocolate factory for the very first time, and oh my gosh, I was stunned. The tour will be guided by Lisa, the head chocolatier, and also the nicest lady I think I've ever met in my entire life.
Welcome to my chocolate factory.
Now, this factory is set up in 4 sections: the kitchen, packaging area, the wall fridges, and the freezer. We're starting in the kitchen.
So is this the method that you guys use mostly?
This is about 80% of our chocolates are made with a shape and a color. So we have lots of different processes.
Now, the method Lisa is talking about is essentially where you get a mold of the chocolate, paint on the outside a pretty design, let it harden in the fridge, then add more chocolate as a filling. I think that's right, Lisa. If you're watching this, feel free to correct me in the comments. But the first thing that Lisa actually wanted to show me was her tempering machine. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what that means or does, but it looked really, really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. This holds about 120 pounds of melted chocolate, which is super cool.
Oh my gosh. So how many chocolates a day would you say you make here?
Anywhere from 12,000 to 20,000 a day.
A day. So how long does one chocolate piece take to make?
About 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yes.
When comparing these monster of machines next to my chocolate 3D printer, these machines are the guys she tells you not to worry about. I mean, look how big and cool these things are.
The machinery here is just so top notch.
Yes.
It looks very just high quality.
It is wonderful. We do a lot of things by hand. However, the machinery helps us just initiate and keep everything streamlined.
Okay, that makes sense.
Lisa kept showing off her machines. I'm getting jealous and feeling self-conscious at this point in time. And to be honest, it's making me rethink everything I've committed my life to this last month.
And then as it comes off on this conveyor belt, we are just taking them off and putting them into a tray unit so we can get them off to our stores.
Lisa then took me through the packaging department, which I then learned
this also includes some machinery for the packaging department, so it does it all for us, which is...
Oh, that's so nice. It's kind of just all automated with machines.
100%. Well, and then let me show you another spot that's kind of cool to see.
I was then taken into the wall fridge, which I don't think most people are allowed to go. Lisa then proceeded to feed me golden chocolate, which, I mean, oh
should
my
taste
gosh.
like white chocolate, but caramel.
Oh, that's very sweet. That's very sweet.
Which is super
full.
I am literally the worst food critic of all time. Lisa then showed me around the rest of the fridge, and then it was time to move on to the freezer.
We do have our freezer, which is kind of cool on where we keep all of our...
I'd love to see the freezer.
Okay, sorry, we gotta go back up this way.
But before we got there, we ran out of time, and
I am being told we have to go to a different spot right at the moment.
Okay.
So
What are you guys keeping in your freezer?
maybe next time.
that is Casey, the guy I talked to on the phone, one of the owners of the chocolate factory, and apparently also keeping dead bodies in his freezer. But now it's officially time. After the past few weeks of grinding, trying to get a 3D printer, it not working, buying a new one, flying Cameron out, spending 20 hours building and an entire day preparing, I am about to fill my childhood dream of basically being on Shark Tank. So here's how it's set up. As you know, I prepared a presentation to convince these 4 chocolate experts to start selling 3D printed chocolate. The experts are Lisa, she gave me the tour, still the nicest lady I've ever met. Next to her is Ben, he's apparently Casey's son. I don't know if I totally believe that, but that's what I was told. Next is Casey, also still probably keeping dead bodies in his freezer. And lastly is Amber. I'm running on 0 hours of sleep and I'm super underprepared for this, but without further ado, let's kick some ass.
Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Volich. I'm the CEO and co-owner of 3D Printables, the world's first 3D printing chocolate company. My goal by the end of this presentation is to convince you all to start 3D printing your chocolate. Are you guys ready? I'm here seeking absolutely nothing in return for 100% of my business. But before you can actually understand why I believe in 3D printing technology so much, I'm gonna take you back through the history of chocolate. So right when chocolate was first founded 5,300 years ago by the Olmec, a civilization in South America. Chocolate used to be a luxury among mankind, but fast forward to today, the world's fastest growing chocolate brand is owned by a YouTuber called Mr. Beast. And if we take a step forward into the future, I present to you Nut. He's our chocolate 3D printer. He works 95% of the time. He is also the company's only employee. Now, when you think about 3D printing, my mind immediately goes to what weird and fun shapes can I put into my mouth? So you're probably wondering, I'm just an average guy. I don't know how to 3D print anything. I don't know how to work a 3D printer. And I'm not in.
There's now time to do a taste test of the 3D printed chocolate.
I want to pass out these. These are our branding, basically 3D printables. It doesn't look like any other popular chocolate brand on the market right now. There's 2 milk chocolates and 1 white chocolate in there.
Did you design this?
I did not design it. My co-owner Cameron designed it.
So after doing an in-depth taste test of the world's first official 3D printables chocolate bar,
is the texture weird? Okay, so yeah, step 1 is to put the core into Nut, I guess you could say.
I then spent the next 10 minutes going through the step-by-step process as to how Nut makes chocolate.
Nut eats it up, basically, and then you can program it to do what you want it to. But enough with the technical stuff. How exactly are we acquiring our customers? How are we getting our name out there, and what is our acquisition cost per customer, right? Well, we're big on all social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We have a total of 52 followers across all platforms, and we're fastly growing. But that is not the only way that we acquire customers. So a big way that we get in front of customers and sell our chocolate is just by word of mouth. So for example, let's say that I get my friends to start selling the chocolate as well, right? So let's say this is me, and then that's you, right? I would take a percentage of your profits that you guys would sell to your customers, right? And then let's say you guys get your friends, right, to start selling the chocolate. You would take a percentage of their profits. And then you keep going down the line, and there's just a massive line directly to us at the top, and then we're all just sharing profits like the cold hard capitalists that we are, right? I know what you're thinking, Brandon, this looks like a pyramid. It looks like the IRS is going to be busting down our door. But I don't like to think of it as a pyramid. Instead, I like to think of it as the world's most futuristic food pyramid, in which, if you don't tell the IRS, neither will I. In terms of company revenue, we've had a pretty quality year this year. In 2024 so far, our biggest expenses are the supplies, materials, and marketing costs. Usually a company our size would have higher employee overhead, but since Nut is our only employee and we don't pay him a dime, the total revenue comes out to be negative $2,082.70. Do we double check that? Negative $2,082.75. Yikes.
I feel as if I'm making a fool out of myself right now. So I just opened up and told them the truth.
This is where you guys come into play, right? I myself am not a businessman. I am a YouTuber. So I'm not trusted with this technology. I'm not trusted with trying to get 3D printing in front of millions of people. But I still believe that 3D printing technology can take over the food industry and the chocolate industry in specific. But in order to do so, it needs to be in the right hands with the right people. And after talking to you all after the tour today, after seeing the intricacies, the care and the love that you put into making chocolate, I think you guys would be perfect fit to start 3D printing chocolate. So I came here today seeking absolutely nothing in return for 100% of my business. And I was not lying. You guys can take my business if you guys actually believe it to be true. So I have a pitch for you guys. Throughout this entire conversation, throughout this entire video, I've been trying to answer the question, is 3D printing the future of food? Is it the future of the chocolate industry? So if you guys think it is, if you guys say yes, and truly think that 3D printing, if not, is the future of the industry that you all know and love so much about, then you can keep my $2,000 3D printer and start 3D printing chocolate. But if you guys don't think that 3D printing is the future of the chocolate industry, then I can keep my 3D printer, sell it, and then hopefully the company will be profitable within the next quarter, basically. So I have one more question for you all. Yes or no? You can decide it amongst yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, these chocolates are beautiful. Yeah. And efficiently printed.
3D print like a Mr. Beast chocolate bar or something?
Yeah, maybe.
What are your thoughts on 3D printed food?
It's not going to be a good manufacturing process just because it takes so long to make one.
So we've talked about with chocolate, we've seen it with chocolate, it just doesn't have, I don't think there's a place for high production and...
It's working so
Let's go,
good.
it's working, it's working.
It's working.
Oh my God, let's go. Let's go, bro. Let's go, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh no, no. It's okay. Was it the long printing times, the crippling debt that the company is in, or?
Well, that doesn't help your arguments. Yeah. I do think you're right. There's a future for 3D printed chocolates and food.
Yeah, it's just not ready yet.
It goes beyond. Yeah, I think. Yeah, surely it's
just not
very
there
advanced to where it's.
That makes sense.
They tried to make me feel better, but it didn't help. I've learned a lot today. Number one, the way that professional chocolatiers make chocolate is so much better and cooler than by 3D printing it. But it doesn't mean walking away with a no doesn't hurt. Throughout this entire video, I've said that I would sell Nut if I get a no, and that I think that there's someone out there who's better suited to take care of him than me, which is probably true. But to be honest, I don't care. I am dedicating my life to YouTube, so subscribe if you haven't already, because I promise you, some other, much larger chocolate brand will be getting a pitch very soon, and this time, I won't take no for an answer.